Hi everyone, in this video I will be first of all teaching you what does true, false, not given means. I will be trying my best to teach you in depth about these three things, and after this I will also be doing one recently published Ielts material, that is Cambridge 17. I will be doing some questions from there so that you will be more clear about this topic. Before we start to do true, false, not given, we'll have to understand its details. We'll have to know individually what true, false and not given means. So first of all, I will be explaining you the work of each of this question statement. So true, when do you write true? You will be writing true if the question and passage agrees with each other. Now what does question means is, in your IELTS reading passage you will be getting passages like this and you will be getting questions. Can we see this is true, false? Here you have your questions. This is what I am trying to say, question. This is what the passage means. Now you will be writing true if the given question agrees with the text or passage. Now it should agree up to 100%. Now the things that you see in the question should conform or should agree with the text itself. For example, let's assume this is our question, and this is our passage. Okay, in our question we have the color of sky is blue. Now we will be searching in the passage, and if we see this, the sky is blue in color, can we see two things matching? The color is blue. In our passage they have said the color of sky is blue. In our question also it has said the color of sky is blue. If it agrees or if it conforms with the statement and passage, then we will be writing true. Now if it's 90%, as I said, if it's 100%, then only you could now say true. If it's 90%, then our answer will be false. So to sum up, true, you will be only writing true if the question and text agrees with each other. Not only the words should be agreeing with each other, but the meaning should be agreeing to each other. Now let's move on to false. When do you write false? We write false if the given question shows opposition with the passage. It should be 100% opposition, means now there should be contradiction between question and the passage. For example, let's assume in our question we have the color of sky is pink, but when we read our passage we see this thing, the sky is blue in color. Here they have talked about color, and in our question they have said us the color of sky is pink, but when we read our passage we could now find out that the color of sky is blue. Can we see two opposite things, pink and blue? They have talked about color, but the information is opposite. If the information is opposite, then our answer is false. So in order to become false, our answer should be opposite to the text and the question itself. Now once I had said you earlier that if it's 100%, then it's true. If it's only 90%, then our answer will be false. Now let me prove one example. For example, in our question we have this: a total of 500 children were in the park. So let's read this question one more time. A total of 500 children were in the park. Now when we read our passage we could find this: there were 900 children in the park. They have talked about children, they have talked about the number also, they have talked about children, talked about the number also, but now the information they have provided is opposite. They have said here 500, here they have said it's 900. Can we see the contradiction between two information? In this case also our answer is false. Many students might say it's not given because they have not talked about 900. No, they have talked about children and the number also. So in this case our answer is false because the information is opposite. Now let's move on to not given. When do we write not given? Mainly students feel very confused to do this not given part, and they often say they get confused between false and not given. Now you will be writing not given if the main information has not been given in the passage. So not given just focuses on the main information. What happens is they might be talking about every possible thing, but they might not talk about that main information. So when you are doing true, false, not given question, you will also have to understand the main information of a question. For example, here in our question we have he plays with blue color. Yes, so first of all understand the question. Okay, he plays with blue color. Yes, in our passage we could now see he likes blue color. Now students say it's false because they have talked about color. Yes, it can be not given. The students think in that way, but the main thing is in not given everything will be given except the main information or the main idea. Here our question says he plays with blue color. In our passage we could now find he likes blue color. Color has been talked, blue has been talked. Now students often think this might be true also. Yes, but the main thing is, the main idea of the question is of the passage is he likes blue color. It means his favorite color is blue color. But in our question it's not clear whether blue color is his favorite color or not. We only know that he plays. So in this case we are not confirmed with the main information, or we have not been provided with this idea that is he likes it or not. In this case our answer is not given. So as I said, be careful in not given. Everything will be given except the main idea. So always try to run before the main idea in order to find the correct answer, like this. So now let's try to do this one also. For example, this is in our question. Okay, it was decided to close the school for all the children and teachers. Understand this thing first of all. Okay, it was decided to close the school. Okay, closing the school for all the children and teachers. Now let's read in the passage. The decision to close the school was made by teachers. So now they have said us that the decision to close the school was made by the teachers. Here they have said us it was decided to close for all the teachers and even the children. Now students say this is false, but this answer is also not given. Now let me explain you why. Here in our question we could see, for example, here in our passage we could see who made the decision. The decision was made by the teachers, yes, but in our question we can't see. It is not clear about the main idea. Who made the decision? We are not clear. Our passage has clearly stated that the decision to close the school was made by the teachers, but in our question it is, now we can't be clear. Our main idea has not been given. It was decided to close the school for all the children and teachers. In this case we don't know who decided it, so our answer is not given. So now in the similar note we will be doing our Cambridge 17 reading test 1 question. Since we know what this true, false and not given means, now let's move on to some of the tips that you should compulsorily know about true, false, not given question. The first tip is the question will be following the order. What does this means? Now the question will follow the order. For example, here this is our question number 17 to 13. Question will follow the order means after you have found the answer of question number 7, then only you can find the answer of question number 8. For example, let's assume the answer of question number 7 is somewhere here. Yes, the answer of question number 7 is somewhere here. Now in order to find the answer of question number 8, you do not have to read this before passages. You will now have to read after the one that you have found the answer. So you found the answer here, now you will have to read from here to find the answer of question number 8. In the same way, let's assume you found the answer of question number 10 here. Now you do not have to read this whole passage in order to find the answer of question number 11. You will have to read after this word itself, after this. This is what question will follow the order of the text means. If you know this, it will always save your time to find the answer. Now the second tip is read the instruction very, very carefully. What happens is the instruction will always might say you to do true, false, not given, and students might not read the instruction, and instead of writing true, false, not given, they might write yes, no, not given. In this case you will be totally losing your marks. So always read the instruction very carefully and follow the instruction. Then read after you have studied your instruction. Now what you will now do is read and understand the first question first. So now let's see our first question here. Okay, our instruction says true, false and not given. Our first question is other countries had built underground railways before the metropolitan line opened. So first of all, understand this question. Okay, other countries had already built underground railways before this line opened. Okay, so have you understood the question? After you have understood the question, you will now highlight the keywords to scan for the words. So in Ielts we have scanning, skimming and close reading. So skimming means reading quickly throughout the passage just to find the main idea. Scanning means searching for specific information. For example, the city center, let's say. In this case you will be only searching for city center. This is what scanning means. Scanning means searching for specific information in our passage. Skimming means reading quickly to find out the general idea, and close reading means let's assume you have found city center somewhere here. Now you will have to study in depth to find out the correct answer. Here we were here, read and understand the first question. We did it. Now after you have understood the first question like this, for example, Other countries had built underground railways before the metropolitan line opened. Okay, it is saying that before this metropolitan line, other countries had already built this underground railway. After you have understood the question, now you'll have to highlight the keywords to scan the words. Now keywords are those words which could directly help you to find the answer location. These words can't be easily changed, so you will be searching for keywords. For example, here find out the words which can't be easily changed. It could be countries, underground railways, metropolitan line or not. So now let's search for metropolitan line, underground railways and countries. This is what scanning means. Now you'll be only scanning for these words. Let's try to scan underground railways, metropolitan line and countries. Let's start from the beginning. Underground railways. We have found underground railways. Our main idea is now to find metropolitan line. Okay, where are you? Metropolitan line. We are now scanning. Okay, we are not reading this at all. We are just scanning metropolitan line like this. Metropolitan line. Okay, we did not find. No need to panic. We will be now studying another piece. We are now turning another piece to find out metropolitan line, countries. Okay, metropolitan railways, but we are searching for metropolitan line, not railway, and we are also searching for countries which they have not mentioned here. Now students start to get panic, but don't do this. We can't find here also. Now let's try with this one. Okay, here can we find our keyword metropolitan line? Let's search for countries. Okay, words first. It means we have scanned and found the keyword. After finding out the keyword or after scanning, now you'll have to do close reading. Close reading means you'll have to start reading from year to year in order to find whether it's true, false or not given. Now let's again move on to the question. Our question has said us that other countries had already built underground railways before metropolitan line opened. Now let's see if it's true or not. The metropolitan line, which opened on dash, was the world's first underground railway. Okay, it is now saying it is the world's first underground railway, and our question here is saying us that other countries had previously built underground railways before this. This is not possible because our passage has said us that metropolitan line was the world's first railways, but our question has said us that other countries has already built it. It is showing opposition or not. Other countries had already built. Here our text is showing it is the world's first. Two opposite thing. In this case our answer is false. As I said, it will be following the order now. What you will now do is after this only you will have to read to find out the answer of question number 8. So you will not have to read this much passage. Now let's start from here. First of all, let's read and understand the question. More people than predicted traveled on the metropolitan line on the first day. Understand it. Okay, more people than predicted traveled on the metropolitan line on the first day. Okay, on the first day more than expected people traveled on metropolitan line. Our keyword would be traveled, metropolitan line and predicted. Now let's see if more people travel than predicted or not. Can we see our keyword here? First day. Here can we also see first day? Yes. On its first day, almost 40,000 passengers were carried between the dash and dash, the journey taking about 18 minutes. So now it has said almost how many passengers? 40,000 passengers. Now students might think, oh my god, this is a very big number, and they might say more than predicted. Yes, it's true, because here they have said more people than predicted travel on metropolitan line on the first day. After seeing this huge number, they might say true, but the main thing is you'll have to understand the main idea. Okay, in our question they have said us more people than predicted. Okay, we don't know how much they predicted. They might have predicted 70,000 also, they might have predicted 1 lakh also. We don't know the prediction or not. Can we see here anything about prediction? In our question it has said more people than predicted travel on metropolitan line on the first day. Now we don't know whether it is more or whether it is less. We are now uncertain because they have not given us an exact prediction number. They have only said us on its first day almost 40,000 passengers were carried between dash and dash. They only said how many passengers were carried, but they didn't talk about more or less. In this case, they have not talked about the main idea, that is, it was more than predicted or less than predicted. So in this case, our answer is not given. Now let's move on to question number 9. Read and understand it again. The use of ventilation shafts failed to prevent pollution in the tunnels. Our keywords are ventilation shafts failed to prevent pollution in the tunnels. Understand it? Okay. With the help of ventilation shaft, it did not help to prevent pollution in the tunnels. Let's source for ventilation shafts first. Okay, we were here. Now we'll have to study from after this word itself. Ventilation shafts. Ventilation shafts. Don't worry, the keywords might be here. Well, sorry for the disturbance. We were in question number 9. The use of ventilation shafts failed to prevent pollution in the tunnels. Now let's see if the use of ventilation shafts really failed to prevent the pollution in the tunnels or not. Now let's scan for ventilation shafts. After here, we will have to scan ventilation shafts. Ventilation shafts. This is what scanning is. Okay, you will not have to read. You will just have to scan ventilation shaft because it can be easily changed. Can we see ventilation shaft? Now let's start studying from here. However, smoke and fumes remained a problem even though ventilation shafts were added to the tunnel. Okay, it means that even though ventilation shafts were added, what was a problem now? At that time also, smokes and fumes were a problem. Our question now says the use of ventilation shafts failed to prevent pollution in the tunnels. Failed to prevent means even with the use of ventilation shaft, there were smokes and fumes. There were pollution. It is agreeing or not? Words are different, but the meaning is same. Our answer is true. Question number 10. A different approach from the cut and cover technique was required in London's central area. It has said a different approach from this cut and cover technique was required in London's central area. Let's see if a different approach was required or not. Let's scan for cut and cover London. We were here. Cut and cover. Okay, can we see cut and cover here? Our question has said a different approach from this was required in London's central area. The cut and cover method of construction was not an option in the part of the capital. Here it has said it was required. Here it has said it was required, but here it has now said it was not an option. It means it is showing opposition or not. Here it is saying required. Here it is saying we don't require. It is completely showing opposition, so our answer is false. Question number 11. The windows on City and South London trains were at eye level. Let's understand it. Okay, the windows were on City and South London trains were at eye level. Eye level means they could easily see the windows. Let's see if it's true or false or not given. We'll scan for windows, City and South London trains, eye level. Windows, City and South. We can't find here. The line opened, dash, the trains were made of the carriages and the carriage. Can we see windows here, our keyword? Let's try to do close reading now. The carriages were narrow. Okay, they were narrow and had tiny windows. Okay, it means very small windows just below the roof, because it was thought that passengers would not want to look out at the tunnel once. Okay, since the passengers did not want to look out the tunnel once, the window was just below the roof and it was very tiny. Yes, but our question has now said us the windows on City and South London trains were at eye level. No, they were not at eye levels. They were tiny and they were just below the roof. They were not at eye level because passengers would not want to look out at the tunnel walls or not. So it means here our question they have said it was at eye level. In our passage they have said it was not in eye level. Our answer is showing opposition, so false. Question number 12 now. The City and South London Railway was a financial success. The City and South London Railway was a financial success. Now let's see if it was a financial success or not. Our keyword is City and South Railway financial success. we found our answer here. So now let's start from here. City. Can we see our keyword? City and South London Railway. Okay, although the City and South London Railway was a great technical achievement, it did not make a profit. Okay, it did not make a profit is contradictory or is opposite to financial success or not? So our answer is false. Last number, trains on the Tupney tube nearly always ran on time. Okay, trains on this tube always or nearly always ran on time. Now let's see if this train always ran on time or not. We can see our keyword here. Then in 1990, the Central London Railway, known as Tupney Tube, began operation using new electronic locomotives. Our main idea is whether to find out if they ran on time or not. It was very popular, and soon afterwards, new railways and extensions were added to the growing tube network. By 1907, the heart of today's underground system was in place. Okay, here we studied this sentences, but we can't find whether it ran on time or not. They did not talk about this main idea, that is time. So our answer is not given. So always focus on the meaning itself. When do you have to write true, when do you have to write false, and when do you have to write not given. This is how we end our true, false, not given chapter. In our next video, I will be teaching you some of the tips and tricks regarding fill in the gaps. Till then, thank you for watching my video. If you like this video, please subscribe.